Against You podcast, and I'm your host, Deja Nicole. So, in today's episode, which will be something different, is me wrapping up chapter 21. So, I just recently turned 22 last Saturday, July 6th, and I thought, why not do an episode of me just reflecting on everything when I was 21? And these type of episodes are very, very popular within the podcast community. So I was like, let me jot down some notes and let's talk about it. I don't know how long or how short this episode will be, because I don't know if I want to touch base with everything, because I do not want to go back in the past, while talking about these certain subjects, but I'm still going to talk about it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm so sorry with the lighting. I would try to fix it when I'm editing this episode for Sunday. So today is July 12th, which is a Friday, and it's 7:23 p.m. while I'm recording this episode. But before we start before we start today's episode, besties, which I said before, recapping 21, that's basically what this episode will be. Or I might just do recapping chapter 21 because it just sounds so much better. We're going to go into the weekly updates. But before we talk about the weekly updates, remember that I'm just being honest with you guys, and that this episode is going to be raw. I'm going to be brutally honest, and yeah, so let's just get on to today's episode. So the weekly update. So my mental health checkup. So sometimes when you want something, you get it right away. So my mental health checkup. So how's my mental health been? I'm gonna say my mental health has been all over the place. Me writing a book, actually writing a few books at this moment. Like after this podcast, I'm going to finish a chapter in a book that I'm doing, and then start another book that I'm planning to do, which I told myself I was going to do early this year, but I never did. And it's just like, it's a stressful moment trying to get your characters, the plot, each chapter, how you want to do the chapters by each POVs, or just different storylines. It's too much. But I love writing. Writing is a hobby of mine since I was like in middle school. So writing a couple of novels has been very fun but also stressful, and this is your sign to write a novel if you always wanted to write a novel, and that with the right character development and the right team to help you build this novel, it will become a success. I have DM'd a fellow author that I found on TikTok. She's like a smaller author, and she said if I need any help to always DM her. So that has been like very, very helpful. But yes, I'm writing a book. Another thing on why my mental health has been up and down, but mostly up, is school. I really hate one of my classes just because it's like too much papers, too much assignments to do, and I just want this to be over. I got like 2 more weeks left. So what I'm doing tonight, because I do have a paper due on Sunday, and I'm going to be busy with my family tomorrow, and I have started this paper, so I literally have coffee made that's on my dresser right now because I don't want to drink it on this podcast because I'm scared that I'm going to stain this new shirt that still has the tag on it. But I'm gonna drink the coffee, probably work on my book, do some editing, finish the paper, start a new paper, and which I like that for these papers that this professor has. He has all the Dropbox open, so I can just turn them in on like early. Then last minute, so that's why I'm gonna like do 3 papers tonight. And it's stressful. I hate writing essays, but I love writing, which is so weird. Like, I don't know if you're like someone who's into creative writing or like to write books. Do you hate writing essays but you love writing? Like, is that true? It's just with writing essays you have to like follow directions, and creating a novel or just creative writing in general, you can write about anything and create a story, you know, based on all your ideas that you have in your head. But yes. Now another thing that happened to me this week was Wednesday. So I got good news on my case that I have against my ex. And to be honest, I thought I was going to hear the opposite news, so bad news on what could happen to him. But the news were actually very good. I could actually have picked options on what I want, but each option means that it's going to take longer than the option that I did choose. And so it's going to take like about 4 to 6 months, which is so happy because I just want this whole case to be over. I just want him to be in the past finally, and just, it's like it's too much to deal with. And if you've been in that situation, you know exactly how I feel. But I got those good news, and I will say the only good news is just me doing things that really make me happy and actually going towards my goals. I have also been batch not content, but batch content, making batch content lately. That's what I should say. So making batch content lately. I have made author reels. I have made a coffee reel / TikTok. I have made like so many content just because I was so bored. But it really has put me in the creative atmosphere for both TikTok and Instagram, because I can post more on YouTube and make longer form videos. Like, I don't think I would post YouTube shorts just because I don't like the growth that it gives me. Like, it can be a hit and miss with me with YouTube shorts, but with TikTok and Instagram it's like good. So I've been like making that, like, so many content, and I have so much to edit, so I'm going to be doing that tonight. So I think that is like it with my week, my mental health, and why it is. And you know, sometimes you just have to like reflect on your mental health, on how it has been through the week. And just looking through this week, I can say it's going good. I also have been like journaling again. I got like this small notebook and I don't know what to use it for, so I was like, I'm gonna use it for my journal. I'm gonna journal in it. So like, I have started journaling again, which I like. Now we're going to get into the quote of the day. So the quote of the day is, sometimes you gotta stop worrying, wondering, and doubting, having faith that things will work out. Maybe not how you planned, but how they were meant to be. So I'm going to say that again. Sometimes you gotta stop worrying, wondering, and doubting. Have faith that things will work out. Maybe not how you planned, but how they were meant to be. So that is today's quote. So for today's episode, that is today's quote, and I'm trying to be done by 8 because I want to post a TikTok around 9:20ish, so 7:31. So let's see how long this episode will be. So the affirmation of today is, I live life on my terms. Today's journal prompt is, what is something that you want to achieve by your next birthday? Which I have a whole idea, or I would say, what's the word? Not, it's an idea, it's something, I just forgot what it's called. A challenge, that's what it's called. I have a whole challenge that I made up like 3 days before my birthday that I'm going to share. So that's why that is the journal prompt for today's episode. And you can follow You Against You podcast on both Instagram and TikTok, which is You Against You pod.by Deja. You can also follow my personal Instagram and TikTok, which is Deja, DAJAH underscore NICOLE underscore. You can also go subscribe to my main YouTube channel, which is Deja Nicole. So those would be linked in the show notes down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a rating and review. And if you are listening to this on Spotify, don't forget to leave a rating. I know there's like a new update on Spotify. Like, I'm gonna look at it first, but there's a new update on Spotify when it comes to like podcast episodes. So I'm just going to like, I don't know what it is, but I usually have a Q&A, but I don't know, I think that the like update got rid of the Q&A. So whatever it is, just interact with that, please. That would like be like highly like grateful. I'd be like highly grateful for that. But let's just get into today's episode. But also, if you want to buy lip glosses that can make your lips soft and moisturizer, moisturize for hours, go shop Deja Nicole Beauty, which that will also be linked in the show notes down below. So let's just get into today's episode. So, like I said, this is a whole episode about me reflecting on chapter 21. So, I don't want to touch base on a lot of downs and a lot of ups, because last episode number 14, was really talked about that, but I feel like doing a deep dive a little bit more for this episode would help, and for anyone who is struggling, it can really help. So we're going to go based on my ups. So an up is that I passed all of my college classes, my spring semester, and half of my summer semester. Now, spring semester was kind of rocky for me around the end, which I will do in a few minutes when I'm talking about my downs. But there was one class that I never thought I would pass. Saying that out loud is like, yeah, I really thought I would never really pass. What was it? Healthcare analysis, financial analysis. If you don't know, I'm majoring in healthcare administration, and now I'm trying to find jobs within that major or that degree once I graduate, or a good paying entry-level job. But I live in a small town, so it's like it has its ups and downs on trying to find a job in a field that I can start with and grow and get experience. But I passed all of my classes, and me reflecting, like, because this is my last semester in college, it's good. It's good because I always doubt myself, and it's sad to say that out loud, but I always doubt myself because I'm always compared to someone else who is doing better than me. So I always feel like I'm not good enough, especially with academics, because I never made the dean list, but that doesn't really matter because I know that I'm just striving for me. And for someone who has a learning disability, academics can be hard. So the fact that I got a C in a class that I was failing, and then when I passed the final and did extra credit, it brought me up to a C, which I actually wanted. So it was like really amazing that I passed that class. Like, I dropped down, I cried, and yeah. Another good thing that really happened to me at age of 21 is I had someone who I can call my friend in college. Her name is Emily. And to be honest, I'm an introvert. I don't like going out. I don't, but I feel like I want to go out more, because sometimes being in this same environment 24/7 can damage your mental health. So sometimes I want to go to the store, sometimes I want to go to a coffee shop, then making coffee at home. Sometimes I want to go to the park, but I don't have a car. So it's like, it's very hard to do that. But I'm so glad that I made a friend in college, and that we're still talking till this day. She actually came back, I think, today from Argentina, but we're still talking till this day. She is someone I can still call friends, because I can call someone my friend, but then I just stop talking because we just distance ourselves and we're more like acquaintances than friends. But I can call her more as a friend, and I'm glad that she's in my life, because it's very hard to find friends as an adult. That is something I have learned, and I feel like a lot of adults have learned that as well. But it is something that, I like, and that really got me out of my comfort zone to go out more, no matter if it's like going to a restaurant just to have lunch with, or going to a park. Like, I am so glad that, I have friends and I can count her as my friend. Like, we would go to the gym on campus and work out. She won't be going to that campus anymore. She's actually transferring to a community college, which is a smart idea. There's nothing wrong with going to a community college. You actually save much more money. But I'm so glad that I made a friend on campus, and sometimes you just have to go out there. And also, your friends can help you get out your comfort zone, which I have learned. Another thing that I have learned, and just something good that happened in my life, is that I am getting out my comfort zone. I feel like now that I kind of do enjoy going out, and this is when I was like dating to going out much more, it gave me this feeling of freedom in a way. I didn't feel like I was trapped. And this is why I want to start learning how to drive now, or in the next month or two, so I can get my license, because I feel like once I have a car, it's more freedom. And if I want to get out the house and go to a park, I can drive to a park, or give me some food and have a solo picnic in a park. So it's like me just going out more. It really does help. Another thing I would say that's really good is that I I I tell what's really on my mind sometimes, and even though that can have its negative connotation to that, for some people, telling, like, not keeping things inside, bottled up, that it's going to hurt me no matter who's it's to, I'm now releasing it, because it's how I feel, and it really does help. Like, I tell my therapist this, like, it helps to really tell people how I really fucking feel, even though they might take something negative out of it. Another good thing that I really like is that I go to therapy. I try to go to therapy every month, but sometimes I do have to cancel an appointment because something popped up last minute. Like, I had to cancel my appointment for Wednesday the 10th because my liaison needs to see me in person. So I was like, okay, yeah, I have to go to this. And she was like, it's understandable. Like, yeah, my therapist knows, like, I have this whole case right now that I'm dealing with. So that, but I can always message her that, hey, like, this is happening, and I know I won't see you until my next appointment, that's like in this day or next month. So, like, I can always open up to my therapist and tell her whenever. And I'm gonna say this, everyone should do therapy. Even if you're a guy, you should do therapy. I feel like it's more normal for women to do therapy, but it's not normal for men to do therapy. But I feel like mostly men should be doing therapy, because men do like holding up a lot of emotions that can really get them in trouble. And I have seen that with family members, friends, and exes. So yeah. Another good thing before we like switch to a bad thing is I'm now learning what are my like stressors. So I'm like like discovering myself more. So like what I do when I'm anxious, what I'm doing when I'm stressed, what I'm doing when I'm sad. So like if y'all don't know, I'm a big stress eater, and I always knew I was a big stress eater, but then I recently found out that I'm also a stress spender. So a stress spender is buying things that they don't really need when they're stressed out. And like I said, I'm in this whole case right now that's very stressful at this moment because it can be weeks or months till I heal, like not heal, but hear the next like update. And because it's with the military and they was like had days off because of 4th of July, or Flag Day was like last month, 4th of July was like last week, it was just like I had to be patient to know the next update with the case. Now, I did get good news knowing that I can actually get a new update with the case next week, which is better than waiting a whole month or in 2 weeks. And it's just like it's giving me peace of mind to the point that I don't really have to stress out. But I realize that I do stress spend a lot, and I don't want to do that, especially for someone who wants to fix her money habits and spending habits. And I need to stop doing that because that's a problem. That's a huge problem. And at the age of 22, I want to. Well, I'll tell you that or at the end of the episode, because I'm going to talk about like goals I want to achieve at the age of 22. But those are a few things that really happened in my ups. I wouldn't say there was a lot of ups at the age of 21, because I feel like a lot of my downs really reflect on me. And I, like I said, chapter 21 was not the best chapter in my life, and I feel like this chapter I want it to be the best. So let's just get to my downs now. Do 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 do. Now we're gonna touch base on my downs. I'm not gonna try to get sad. Mm, mm, mhm, mm, but I don't like reflecting on the past. That is something about me. I have learned to not reflect on the past, but we're gonna reflect on the past because this episode is reflecting on chapter 21. So, I got like the ick and that. So let's just reflect on chapter 21. So the bads, the downs. So I would say there was a lot of downs. I wanted to kill myself. That is something that is like, wow, like, yeah, I just didn't want to be here anymore. I just felt like I was hopeless. I was helpless, and that I just didn't want to be here. Like, yeah, I did therapy, which helps. Talking to someone does help, but I realized that I keep a lot of things that can happen, and I did keep something that really traumatic happened to me back in December and back in February of this year. So December last year and February of this year, that really affected me, and it really kind of like made summer, like my relationships with my family, rocky. So yeah, like I'm chuckling now because like it's like almost over. Like this whole case is almost over. But if you like, if you haven't heard the last episode, I'm like wandering off, so I'm sorry. So it's, I don't really want to talk about this subject, but I'm going to because it brings awareness to people who's in a similar situation. And if you're someone who's, especially a civilian, and you're dating someone in the military, just know not all military guys are dicks or assholes or there's a lot of words I can say. I met a really nice guy in the military, and I gotta wait till this case is over because his friend is the person who I'm about to talk about. So I dated this guy last year, and after I dated this guy last year, like for a month, well, a few weeks, actually a week, we like he broke up with me. He don't, you know, And after that, back in December, before he went to Texas, because that's where he's from, I went to see him. To play around. Let's just say that. But I was in a situation after a few minutes, I would say, of playing around. I felt uncomfortable. I'm trying to explain the story without saying like words that can get this like taken down off like all platforms or YouTube or whatever. And it was just uncomfortable. Let's just say I did say stop and I did say no. And the person did not do neither. The person did not care, to be honest. I remember the person saying they did not care. So, yeah. And that really left the mark a memory to the point that I remember writing on a piece of paper back in like late January that so and so did this to me and I did not want to be here. I remember writing down a piece of paper, but something told me to tear it up and to listen to gospel music and that everything is going to be okay. So one day, on Valentine's Day to be exact, of this year, I was just bored. So I was like going through my block list. I don't know why, but I was going through my block list on Instagram. We had each other blocked. And I saw that he unblocked me. We DM'd each other. And everything was going good. I did sorta, kinda forgave him, is the word I'm gonna say. But then a week after that, it happened again, and I was on my cycle. I was actually on my cycle on both, but I was like really like on the third or fourth day of my cycle. Around the second to the fourth day when you're on your cycle, it's like very, very, very crucial. So I didn't want to do it, and he didn't care no matter how many times I told him no. And I told him no before he even like picked me up, this and that, that. And yeah, so that was a traumatic like experience that really happened, and I don't know why people are evil. I've been like going on TikTok, people who would like bully people to the point that they like end their life. People's like, well, this person should be blank blank. Like you should never want to wish that on someone. Like not even on your worst enemy, because that can really, really, really bring someone and put someone in a hole. And I'm glad that when I told my family, they was there, because it's not a good place. It's like scary to be in that position. And to be honest, like I said, I did not want to be here. I remember telling my friends that I did not want to be here because my friends were the first people I told. But it was like every time I closed my eyes, I would vision it. But I think once I started to talk about it in my therapy sessions more to my therapist or message her, I remember I was in class, spring semester, and I texted my therapist. It really helped. I did talk to actually one of his friends about it, who's like a good friend. And I'm not saying that he's like a good friend to his hand, like he is, but like how he was when I told him about it, he's like did totally opposite, which is weird. Like your friends are like very nice, and like I said, the guy that I liked is like is his friend. I was like, so like you're this, but your friends are this, and it's so funny. He's a narcissist. My ex is a narcissist, a huge narcissist. But hold on, my camera's about to pause and stop, so let's continue. Okay, so like I was saying before, my camera like stopped recording because there's like a 30-minute limit. Um, I was just like I was saying what I was saying. Also, like talking to my therapist really did help, because if you've been in that situation, it can really put you like in a hole, and that's how I felt. Like I didn't want to do like schoolwork, and I said it put me into like a hole. It was to the point I wanted to drop out of college. So like I said, you never want to wish that thing or those type of things on people, on your worst enemies. Never do that, because it can really affect someone's mental health, and this is just coming from someone who has been through that. But I would say, after going through the stages of that, with the grief process of that, it it really made me stronger, because it's like a lot of people, especially women, a lot of women don't really talk about it. A lot of women don't speak up. So the fact that I did speak up, and the only reason I spoke up was because it was really eating me inside, to the point I didn't want to do anything, and that I no longer wanted to be on this earth. But it's the fact that a lot of women don't really speak up, and it does ruin them mentally, but people don't realize that. So if you're ever in that situation, or if you know a friend who's in that situation, please speak up. Please get them help, because it's not something that people should go through. Now that I'm done talking about my ups and downs, this podcast episode might be like 45 minutes. We're going to make it 45 minutes, maybe less. It's like a 31-minute mark right now. But with editing, I don't know. So now we're going to reflect me on how I am as a person, how I just was as a person. So I kind of like did that like as like my ups, but not just me as a person, but whole. So we already talked about the goods and the bads, but there's some things I did not talk about that's in between. So let's talk about the rest. So college life. Like I said, college life was, I didn't have a lot of friends. I had acquaintances. But I didn't have friends. I was just an introvert in college, and there's nothing wrong being an introvert. I was just a girl who only went to campus like 3 times a week, mostly on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because that's the days I had class. And then Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, the days I don't have class, I'd just be in a library and check out books. And I was known as the person to check out a lot of books by the librarian. And to be honest, that is something I'm proud of, because I love reading books. So, and they always ask me like how many books that I read, why I want to read this book. If one of the books have the movie adaptations to it, he was like, well, you need to check out this. And to be honest, I read Crazy Rich Asians like back in May before turning it in, or back in April actually, and I watched the movie back in May. And I love the movie, and it's like still on Netflix, and I might have to rewatch it because I love the movie so much. But I feel like I've been reading a lot. I'm now trying to read some self-help books again, because I want to, and I have a bunch of self-help books that I read already, but I'm going to reread them. So I'm reading like Mountain Is You, and I'm also reading the 48 Laws of Power, and I want to finish those books before the end of the month. So I'm going to see if we can finish the 48 Laws of Power before July ends. I am planning to stay up, like I said, to do homework and to do some editing and to write. So that would just be in the mix of, let's take a break of editing, let's take a break of reading, or my video is exporting, so let's read. So that is something I'm going to do, and I am planning to start reading more self-help books. If you have any like self-help books recommendations though, please let me know down in the comments. So yeah, another thing I feel like I feel like with me is, now I'm doing the things that I'm saying that I want to do. And I think after I got my permit, that really kind of shifted, because I felt like I can do anything now. Like, it's just a weird thing now that I say, like, yeah, I could have done anything before I got my permit, but I got my permit and now I can do like anything. And I feel like now that I got my permit and I achieved that, I now can write a book. doesn't really correlate with each other, but it kind of correlate with each other in my mind. But I feel like I can really do what I say I want to do, even though it's going to be challenging. Like, I want to grow my business. I'm actually going to make a new business plan, think of new products, find some more vendors, and save up money so I can start getting those items. It's just like I'm now saying what I want and doing it. I'm not being a sayer. I'm actually just being a sayer and being a doer. Because there's some people who just say the things and it's like in their mind, and whatever little world that's in their mind, they're doing it. And there's doers, and I want to do it. And I want to own a coffee shop one day. So I've been like trying to like find recipes because I want to like bake and I want to cook more, and I want to do like a bakery slash coffee shop slash bookstore. Yeah, so I have been like thinking of name ideas and this and that, and it's a dream. One day I will, but it's like I'm now really just doing the things that I said I'm doing, and it really kind of like when you're now doing the things that you say you're doing and not just having that thought float in your mind, it really can change you, like change you mentally in a positive way, because you're making like you happy, then putting that and making like excuses, and you just doing it. So yeah, now let's shift gears for a bit. Actually, let's shift gears for this part, and then we're gonna do the last part, and then we're gonna do our final. So what are some things that I want to achieve at the age of 22? So I just turned 22, like I said, at the end of this, not end, but at the beginning of this episode on July 6th. Yeah, that was my birthday. And thank you for all the birthday wishes, by the way. I really appreciate that, so thank you. But things that I want to achieve by 22 is get my license and get a car, of course, graduate, get a good paying job. I want to grow my business so I can make it a like second income. I want to start investing again. I want to learn how to ride a horse. That is something that I want to do, and I actually have like rode a horse before. It was like a blue ribbon horse, and it was also blind, and I rode it before. I was like either 12 or 13. I did it with my church, so that was fun, and I want to do that again. And the reason why I want to ride a horse again and learn how to ride a horse, because I always wanted to like buy a ranch and like own horses, but I've been like watching this show called Heartland on Netflix, and it really has given me that idea of riding a horse. I want to start making money on TikTok. I also want to hit 1K subscribers on my YouTube channel, and also get monetized on YouTube. That is something I want to do. I know it's going to take a while for me to hit the 4K watch hour time, but if I just keep promoting my channel on social media, which I want to do more, and being consistent, at least posting once or twice a week, I know I can get that. And I want to be done with one of my books that I'm writing. I actually wouldn't say publish because it does take a lot of time, but I want to be to the point by the time I am 22, I can publish at the age of 23. So like at that close mark of, okay, we're almost done, we already did so many revisions, we got the cover art, we got this, we got a publisher, this and that, you know. And I don't know if I want to get a publisher or self-publish. They both have their pros and they both have their cons, but I do want to be done with almost one of my books that I'm writing, and they're all novels. They're all okay. All of them are romance novels, but now that I'm thinking that I want to rewrite one of them, so it's four. That one is not a romance novel. I don't know how I would put that, so I got to like find a genre on how to put that. But the novels I'm writing right now or romance novels. So like those are like, that's my goal that I want to achieve by the time I'm 23. Now, before we close down today's episode, besties, I am going to talk about the 365 glow up challenge. So this is just a challenge to reflect on yourself. There's no, well, if I miss a day, I gotta restart. Like, no. I have been doing this since the day after my birthday. I've been just doing things that I always want to do. And that is really what this challenge is. It's like you're really holding yourself accountable. If you want to work out twice a week, do that. If you want to work out 3 times a week, do that. And I think I've worked out twice a week so far. And I want to move up to 3 times a week and start running again next week. But it's like you holding yourself accountable, you reflecting on your mistakes and why you didn't do it. It's just you doing a lot of self-reflection, you holding yourself accountable, but also rewarding yourself as well. So this is why this is like not a challenge that like the 78, not 78, but 75 hard challenge or 75 soft challenge, where if you miss a day you gotta stop, and restart. So I'm going to talk about that. So let's go to my Notion template. So I do have a Notion template for this challenge, and I will have a TikTok talking about this challenge. So if you, like I said, if you're not following my main TikTok, which is Deja underscore Nicole underscore, yeah, DAJAH underscore NICOLE underscore, then yeah, you need to, so you can like know. But it will also be posted on my main Instagram as well. But this is just a challenge to really reflect on things on your life. It is also a challenge where you're going to track a lot of things. So it can take you a week or two to know, okay, this habit I'm doing is a bad habit, right? And you're going to do this for a whole year. This is why it's kind of better to start around your birthday, but if your birthday has already passed, you could start whenever you hear about this challenge. I will have this Notion template in the show notes, so if you want to do this challenge now, you can, but it's just you reflecting on yourself. Now, the first thing you have to do in this challenge is write yourself a letter through email. So you're going to go to your email and email yourself, so put 2 in your email and just write a letter. And then after you write this letter, no matter if it's long, no matter if it's short, no matter if it's mid-length, you're going to schedule it until a year from today. And that is basically, you're going to reflect. So if you're doing this like around your birthday or the day before your birthday, the day of your birthday, you're going to reflect everything that just happened that you were. So like what I did this on July 5th, the day before my birthday, and I just reflected on things that happened on like last year and early this year. So like everything that just happened when I was 21, I just basically reflect the good, I reflect the bad, and then I also put in the email, I hope that A, B, C, D, E, F, G happens to you. And it's going to be something that you will be looking forward to next year. It's like a gift for yourself, but you're also going to make that promise to yourself, like, yeah, in this letter I said I want to do this, and did I do it? Yes. Or did I not do it? No. But you're really just going to reflect on your self every single day. You're going to go towards your goals every single day, no matter what. And it's just something that you can do. You can just reflect, and you're going to track every single day. So I do have a habit tracker on this Notion template, a goal tracker, and a finance goals. And then there's a mood journal and a journal. So it's a mood journal plus a journal. You don't have to use it for your mood, but there's a journal also on here as well. But it's just a challenge that I created out of the blue, like literally out of the blue. that I feel like everyone should do, you know? Just do it to make yourself happy, to become a better you. And like I said, it's a whole year. It does take a month or 2 months to better yourself, but why not just reflect on every single day of the year to make yourself better and go towards after your goals, no matter if you feel like giving up or not. So yeah, but now now, besties, that is it for today's episode. Again, today's quote of the day is sometimes you gotta stop worrying, wondering, and doubting. Have faith that things will work out. Maybe not how you planned, but how they were meant to be. Affirmation of the day is I live life on my terms. The journal prompt is what is something that you want to achieve by your next birthday. And again, you can follow You Against You podcast on both Instagram and TikTok, which is You Against You Pod by Deja. You can follow me on both Instagram and TikTok, which is Deja DAJAH underscore Nicole NICOLE underscore again DAJAH underscore NICOLE underscore, and that will be in the show notes. So you can also subscribe to my main YouTube channel, which is Deja Nicole. If you're watching this on YouTube, go subscribe to the You Against You podcast. Hit the subscribe button. And if you have any episode ideas, please let me know down in the comments. And hit the like button as well. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a rating and review. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, don't forget to leave a rating. Remember, it's You Against You, not you against the world. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.